Hey, what's going on, everybody? Man, Leif, doing some turnarounds today. I'll be cleaning this one up. It's one that I did a while ago, and there's some things in it I wanted to clean up, add some color to it, whatnot. I'll probably only be on here for just a little bit, but I did want to go ahead and give it a whirl. Um, any comments or questions, just let me know. And I'll get it started. Let me share this real quick to a few more destinations. And 1 second here. Oh no. Okay, it looks like it dropped out on me. So give me a second to pick it back up. Sometimes I'm using A Power Studio. For some reason, it'll drop out on occasion. So let me get that rolling real quick. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. See if I can get this going again. Make sure everything's on the same network. 1 second. I think that's what it is as well. Should be reading the USB connection, but sometimes it's just part of technology. It'll just drop out on you. So let me see if I can get this rolling one more time. Plus, I just updated my iPad, so I don't know how that's going to work either. Let's see how this goes. Like I said, if you got any questions or anything in between time, let me know. So now it's not even picking up my stream software. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to think of another way I could possibly do this to make it work where I need it to work. These are some of the issues you run into in your streaming. Software issues. So let's see. I got it back up one more time. Let's see if we can get it going for good this time. I know you don't want to look at me. There we go. I'm using Procreate, just so you know. I'm supposed to be streaming this to both Twitch and Facebook. Trying to see if I can see it. See if it's showing up. Okay. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know. Well, you can't let me know if you can't hear me. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I got a thumbs up from some people so they can hear me. So anyway, as you can see, I'm in Procreate. And the way things work in Procreate in terms of turnarounds is you draw per layer and each layer becomes a frame of animation. And so I'm going to pause this. And as you can see, hold on, let me go back to that window. It'll pause here in a second. Okay, everything should be updated. Yeah, and so as I scroll through my timeline, you can see the turns that are happening. And so what I'm going to do today is clean this up a bit I'm only going to be on here for maybe half an hour to an hour max. I have a meeting, but in between that time, I just wanted to get online and just show you what I wanted to do. As you can see up in, let's see, let me open this up, get to the right layer. I'm going to close this. Yeah, make sure I'm on the right layer. As you can see right here, his head is a little wonky. Not only that, but I wanted to clean some of these spots up as well as go ahead and render it out full color. Just because there's no reason for me to keep it as a draft. So I wanted to make sure I handled that as well. So anyway, let's get to it. And what I've done, I'm going to do this on another layer. I'm going to lower the opacity on this. And typically what I do for my layers in Procreate for my animation is I keep everything in a group. So that way I can have reference or anything that I need. As you can see, here's the original sketch. And then I cleaned it up just a bit by adding the red. I'm going to go in and clean this up some more because it's pretty asymmetrical right now. I have a symmetry line going through the character, and as you can see, it's off in quite a few places. So I want to clean that up, and doing this first one, the other turns aren't so bad. Like this angle and this angle is not so bad. That angle is not so bad. For some reason, it's just my straights. So I wanted to clean that up a little bit, and I need to make sure that they still line up when I do that. So because you want to go from here to the 3/4 view. And so that's what I'm going to work on today, right now. If you got any questions or comments, definitely let me know. We'll answer any questions you have and address anything that you like to see or like to talk about. I'm an open book, so I'll talk about just about anything. Let me share this to a few more places, and then we'll get going. Yeah, also, I don't ever know if you guys can hear my oh, that's what it is. I need to share this to my art page. I went live on my normal page. I'm just not realizing that. So let me get that straight. Real quick. Okay, I'm back. So first thing I'm gonna do is also, if you can see these lines here in the background, like doing turnarounds are pretty technical. So you want to create your character or your person first, figure out what you want them to look like, then do your turnarounds, because you can see all these lines. I have like key indicator marks of what I want to keep aligned as I'm turning my character in the 3D space. And so I'll zoom out one more time, let you look at the full turnaround. In some turnarounds, they'll actually change the angle of the person, like they'll change the pose. Thanks, EL. Yeah, so I'm keeping it pretty straightforward for this. Let me go in and begin the cleanup. So the first thing I wanted to do was fix his wonky head. I know some people have dips in their head, but I didn't want my character to. So I'm going to do that. I turned on Drawing Assist. And what that'll allow me to do is if I draw a line on this side, you see. So already I can tell that my alignment is off of my character because these two lines are equidistant from one another. So what I'll probably do is realign the symmetry line to his body more as opposed to his nose. I lined this one up with his nose, and you can see his nose is not dead center. So I'm going to fix that first. I'm going to go here, go to edit. And so you can see right here is my symmetry line right here. I'll make it darker. So you see that little line right there. That's my symmetry line inside of Procreate. And all I'm going to do is just come in here and I'm going to line this to his body more so than to his head. But the odd thing that's off, and I'll probably have to do like a major fix. It shouldn't be too bad, but it's not going to be. And as you can see, this is here. Let me just pull this line up this way. So this dot. And I want to get it dead center in his head because I think that's where my real turns are indicated, around his head, as opposed to his body. And as you can see, the symmetry is way off. You know, from just glancing at it, you may not be able to tell, but when you zoom in on it, the symmetry is way off. So what I'm going to do is actually fix that. I'm going to clean up the character, which may mean I may have to fix a whole lot of the other aspects of the character as well. And that's just part of what you got to do sometimes. So going back into my layers, making sure I'm on the right layer. I'm not going to worry too much about my pen right now. Here's a pen that I made. I got it from a tutorial online, so I created my own kind of pen. And this pen is like a thick, thin kind of pen. And I'm going to just lower that opacity down some more. Also, I should probably change. You know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to make a copy of this. But no, I won't. I'm not even going to sweat it. So anyway, as you can see, it's as closer to symmetrical than the first pass. So I'm going to just focus on that. And this symmetry, it actually it's only going to work in two different poses. It's going to work from the front view and the back view only. This doesn't help me on any other views. So, but the front view is where I saw the issue in terms of the symmetry. And so I'm going to come in here and clean up his nose as well. And this is just a pass because I'm actually going to color this. So it really kind of doesn't even matter so much what my line work is going to look like. I just want to make sure that everything is lined up correctly. So when I do go to clean it up in terms of my colors, everything will be fine. As you can see, this was almost good to go on the eyes. That was still off. And again, and also another thing to remember on your own characters when you're designing them, you don't want everything symmetrical. You want certain features symmetrical, just like the overall shapes maybe. But you want to throw in some asymmetrical aspects just to make the character more interesting because it can get visually boring if everything is perfect. So again, I'm just coming in here. I'm going to redo that because I want to stay true to these lines, these blue lines, because they let me know whether or not it's matching up with my reference. This is my reference. My first reference was a 3/4 view, and so this is where I built all of my other turns from. So anyway, just coming back in here, and I think it may just be a small fix, and I'll be able to tell just by going through. I know his mouth is off. I can tell already. And I'm sure his beard is somewhat off. All I'm doing is just going through and just cleaning up. And this is, like I said, this is more or less for when I get ready to color it. Not so concerned about the underlying sketch other than the fact that the proportions need to be fixed. And then I always look at my reference to see exactly what it is I'm making. And again, this is not necessarily the most fun thing to do, but this will give you an insight onto how character turns are done. I've done quite a few character turns in my time, so especially over the past few weeks. And again, just really just sketching this in. I want to make sure it's looking right. And as you can see, this is getting off from the underlying sketch from the standpoint that you can see where it's misaligned, where it's not symmetrical beneath. And so I'm actually gonna go with this leg over here as a guide because I don't want it too close. Because I wanted to make the character like skinny. I don't really know what kind of character I had in mind, like style, if there's a name for this particular style. But just wanted them just to look a little different. And what I'll do, I'll turn off the symmetry when I work on his pocket. He has like kind of a crisscross thing going on with the back pocket. And I thought about changing his shoes to make them more structurally solid, but I don't know. I kind of like this look. So for now, I'll leave them with these kinds of shoes. I may clean them up just a bit, but again, if I clean this shoe up, then I got to clean up all the other shoes. So I may not do that just for the sake of time and just for the sake of wanting to clean this up. And also the thing like working with such small sections, then the design can get tight. And of course, there's nothing that can't be fixed. And honestly, the reason why my brushes are looking so bunched up here is that I need to change the resolution on this particular image. And I'll probably do that when I do the color cleanup because I'll want my, you see how this looks like kind of when I zoom in, it's kind of jagged and rough. The reason for that is the resolution on this particular image is not that high. Let's see. Yeah, so right now the resolution is only 951 pixels by 1,000, which is not a lot at all. Typically, I'll work double. It's not quite 4K, but I'll do twice the size of regular HD, so I can figure out how I want to do something. Hold on 1 second. Just checking some things just to make sure that get everything working the way I need it. Okay, sorry about that. So anyway, getting back to this, just want to clean up character. Yeah, I'm not going to change this right now. I'll wait. And I'll zoom out of this when I'm done with the cleanup so you can see exactly what's going on because the red underdrawing may be confusing. these lines right here, I want to keep light. And I'm going to resist the temptation to redesign it. That's always a temptation when you're going back over artwork that you did a while ago. You want to clean up certain things and add certain things. But I'm not going to do that this go around. And honestly, I can't even remember why I made this particular character. I still don't have a name for it, as I mentioned. And probably won't have a name for him by the time I'm done with this. And again, you can see how different the alignment is from what I had drawn previously. And so what I'm probably going to do with this layer is copy this image right here and lay it over top of the back image just to make sure that I have the dimensions proportional. And you'll see what I mean when I get to the back. I'm going to turn off symmetry real quick. And I'll do that here. I'm going to turn off the assist. I'll turn that off so when I go in for this back pocket, I can just draw it without having to worry about it being on the other side. And so when I come in here, I'll turn off that layer. You can see what I'm talking about. I'll turn off that as well. And so that's the cleanup. I'll fix his nose a little bit because I don't. It's too pointy right now. It looks weird. So I'm gonna fix that up. But this is the process. And so I'm just gonna flip to that, back to that. I'm gonna turn my lines back on as well, just so I can see what's going on. And I'll turn that opacity down just a little bit more so it's not confusing. Oops. And actually, I'm just going to leave it off, leave the assist off so I can. I know a lot of people like the assist, the animation, the symmetry assist. I like it, but sometimes it's annoying. So okay. So these two, this this red over here was the original. Like I said, you can't visually see that it's off, but you can tell that he looks different on the other side. And so also I'm going to turn the symmetry back on and make his head more rounded. It's too squared. Yeah, so if you got any questions or comments about anything, just go ahead and shoot them my way. I'm just letting you in on my process. What's that? Trying to see if there's any. Oh yeah, I need to finish his collar. And a lot of times I'll just keep redrawing stuff. Like if I don't like it, and you just redraw it until you do. And sometimes even when you do like it, you'll come back to it like I'm doing now and redraw it even again, just to make sure that it's lining up. Yeah, I'll put in the marks for his shoestrings here, even though I'll draw over these on the color cleanup. Because as you can see, like right here, the color changes. And I'll just have to keep a mental note of that when I do my cleanups on the turnaround on the color side of things. So let me turn that layer off. Zoom out, see what it looks like. And so the goal for me is to, when I come back in here, I want this to be as smooth as possible. So I'll fix some things. Yeah, I'm gonna just turn this red so it's not too jarring, so it fits. Because sometimes the color pop can make it look different than what it is. And again, I need to round his head off a little bit more on this view because I can see I have it more curved there, and even in this view. Oops. Okay. Oops. Let me zoom out on that. Oops. And then let me. Yeah, I think that'll do. And here, see with the eye color. Oops. Yeah, I forget every time I do that, I got to go back. Every time I switch frames, I have to go back inside. Oops. So you look at the eyes, they're in between these two lines right here. So when I do this turn, I'm going to have to clean that up in that image. Oops. Don't want to mess that up. See how it kind of gets a little larger? So what I'm going to do is make a mark inside of my lines here to make sure that I'm keeping track of that as well. And so now when oops. So my line is showing me that here, clean that aspect up. And again, a lot of this will be cleaned up on the colors as well, especially when I zoom out, when I add a higher resolution to where these lines will be super clean and less pixely. The brush I'm using right now is like only a 1 pixel brush, and it shouldn't be this chalky, but the reason why is just the resolution of the overall image. I gotta start using my finger. See, there's a change there too. You see the head dips below the line. The chin is consistent. but it dips from there. Keep track of the nose. So I gotta fix now the nose. So like I said, this is the tedious part of doing like character turns. Um, is just making sure you have certain indicators to let you know. So this is the top of the nose and this is the bottom of the nose. So I need to make sure that when I turn, I'm staying true to that. See, let me see, there's a slight dip, right? I'm just slowly getting below that line. And so I just have to make sure I keep track of that. Yep, make sure I'm on the right thing. And all I'm going to do here is just move it up. Oops. Slightly. Smooth it up slightly. And let me go back one more time. Check his lips. Make sure his lips are falling in the parameters there. Yeah, but I need to open. Actually, I'm going to do this because I know they're lining up. So it's going to take this, I'm going to slide it that way more. And so, yeah, I got to watch that dip right there. So on this, I'm going to come in here. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah, I got to get used to the new Procreate because they changed some of those tap areas. And all I'm looking to do is get this nostril on that line right there. Get rid of this bump. And I think his eyes are low. Yeah, that's the issue. His eye gets smaller in height. So his eye should be is not the like how wide it is because from a side view, your eye's pretty much gonna it's actually gonna do more of that than anything. And I'll keep them kind of squarish the way I had them. So now when I take a look at it, see that's a little better, right? Uh, I realized these must have gotten moved over. Okay, because it should be that to that. And I'm about to fix that too. That's a little off. So if I fix this side, then that means I have to fix this side as well. So I need to look at it and see what's actually off on the back 3/4 view. Now, can turn that on. Oops. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. So that way I can look at the overview of the body. So I just turned the reference layer on. So I can look at the overall view and making sure things are still lining up the way I need them. So I'm just zooming in here, looking at this back ear. I said it's kind of off to me. Just hit play. I'll look at the reference up top. You really can't catch it on a turn, so I may not mess with it because that means I have to keep tweaking it. So for right now, I may just leave it as is and then just work on fixing its back view. So the way you do the back view in a turnaround is, and this back view is actually kind of wrong because I want it to look like that more than anything as opposed to that. So his hand angle actually changed on that. It's not a bad thing, but there's an easier way to do it actually. So what I'm going to do is come down to the very first one that I cleaned up first. I'm going to copy that layer. I'm going to go to the back view, open this up, and then I'm going to paste that layer above that. And you can see it looks kind of wonky for right now, but you'll see what I'm going to do. So let me change the color of this layer. So if I zoom in here, you can see what I need to do to clean this up. And I may just redraw it actually, just because. So I'm gonna make a copy of this layer just in case I mess something up. And I'm gonna do this for right now. And all I did was just close all the other layers. So when I come back up to this layer, oops, I'm up the wrong one. What I'm focused on doing here is I'm doing the back side of this image. And in order for that to work, it has the same outline, but some things are going to be slightly different. And so I'm going to use this silhouette, but I'm going to basically empty it out to make sure it lines up for the back view. And you'll see what I mean by that. So now is the time I start erasing. And you gotta just keep in mind that the back view is the back side of the image. So even though there's similarities in the way the front and the back line up, there's going to be some differences because of the overlap. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, hopefully I can clear this up for you when I'm done. And I'll get rid of the guys as well. I need to turn on drawing assist to make sure everything stays consistent. There we go. And I'll always turn on my canvas so I can draw more comfortably. I suggest you do the same. You always just want to make sure that whenever you're drawing, you're comfortable. Increase that a bit. So. And I have it coming up here because I'm just thinking about what the back of the hoodie looks like sometimes. I can add more detail to it, but it's not really my intention to focus on the detail. I could like actually, like if I were to really think about this as a hood, then it may be something more like that. And I'm not gonna do that right now. So my goal for this was to keep it as simple as possible in terms of the design, and I mean the cartoon design itself. Do that. Put that in. Turn the back to his ear. Fix that, and then so the cartilage in the back of the ear kind of wraps like that. And honestly, I don't even know if I want that much detail in the back of his ear, to be honest. Because I don't have his front ear that detailed either, so I want to keep that consistent. Check this out. Sorry if you can hear that. Just some emails coming through. I'm just thinking of the taper on the back of his head. So I'll have that come down like that. And the purpose in doing this anyway is not just to be drawing a character in 3D space just for the sake of drawing it. It's so when you start to do other poses, your character can stay on model. So I designed this guy. Still don't have an idea of what his story is going to be quite yet. I just know he's like some type of officer. I don't know what his background story is or anything like that. Let's see, I gotta, and from here, I'm gonna turn my line layer back on just so I can see how I line this up on the other image. So you can see from this side, the back of his heel doesn't quite hit this line, but I may fake it anyway. So actually I'm gonna do it like this. I'm just gonna delete this part. Because from the back view, you'll actually just see the back of his ankles. And you would also, like, I thought about redoing the front of his shoes to make them more up as opposed to like laying down. But you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And so this is how I I'm going to turn all the layers back on. There we go. So again, I'm looking at my reference and I'm trying to think of what I was doing with the reference. So when I come back to drawing over here, turn that off, and maybe the back of his pants actually cover some of his shoe. So I may, and again, it doesn't have to be like 100% accurate. It just has to be believable in terms of, okay, is this the back of this dude? Is this what it looks like? And to add some visual interest, I would probably make the wrinkles not be so symmetrical as they are here. Like it comes out right here on both sides. I'll probably change it up some. I'm not 100% concerned with that right now. I just want to sell the turnaround first. And then he has really small soles. Type of character. And this would be more readable, like I said, once I up the resolution. And so also the thing that's changed is this is the back of his hand. And it still looks like the front. And that's one of the reasons why I changed it on the other image. So I'm trying to think of, yeah. So to see the back of this hand. It will slightly change this from a view standpoint. I'm just making a slight tweak. Because you think you'd be looking at it differently. I'm actually going to change, I'm going to widen his hands on. Normally I wouldn't, I would just use the outline for the front side. Actually, I still may do that, to be honest, when I think about it. The goal is to work smarter, not harder. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just gotta line this up in my mind. It's technically that finger would be long, but he would have a finger here, which you wouldn't be able to see on the front side. Which is why I probably switched up the image on the other hand. Then all of this little stuff in here would actually be cleaned up for me when I enlarge, because right now the issue is just the pixel size. As you can see, you look over to the left, I have my brush turned all the way down, and it's still giving me this kind of pixelation, and that's just because it's low resolution. Once I fix the resolution, all of this stuff, it'll still look like pixely like this, but when I go back over it, when I clean it up, then when I clean it back up, then it'll be real crispy. Then okay, so now let me change this color back. Still red. I'll turn that layer off and I'll hit play. It's not much of a difference, but it's a difference in terms of the cleanup and where I started from. Yeah, I know what else I need to do. I just thought about it. I need to go here and actually this side view, and I need to clean that up as well as, so I'm gonna replicate this view, and I'm gonna do them, and I'm gonna paste and flip them in the other views. So first, let me clean up this view. Like I said, it's just a lot of tedious things that you got to think about that you may not be thinking about, because but I almost forgot. That's why you keep doing the turn, because I almost forgot about the fact that, okay, I'm cleaning this view up, then I need to clean the other side up as well. And so when I made this character, I wanted to keep him real thin on purpose. Like I wanted him to look thin, almost frail, but he still looks like he could do stuff without breaking, in terms of breaking his body and breaking his capacity to be strong. So, okay, so I'm just giving him a look over one more time. I'm gonna copy this layer. I'm gonna find the reverse of him. Boom, right there. And I gotta make sure always make sure you're in the right layer. There he is. Boom. So I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna hit flip. Oops. There we go. And all I'm doing is just making sure he still lines up. So let me go. I do need to fix that. Just, so that means I'll have to clean up this on the other side as well. Oops. Yeah, I just didn't want to dip in his head. Let it dip in his head. Keep it. Okay, so now looking at that and looking at this, then there's two choices I can make. I can either bring his hair down here, like right here, or I can bring it up on the other one. I'll probably just bring it down here. Because I'm gonna have to fix this on the other side anyway. And I'm gonna fix that one and bring his hair up to that line. And so I need to bring it up some more. I need to make sure that it's this line here, right there. That's what I need to do. And this red that you see under his hairline is from the lines that I did earlier. So the goal is just to make sure that all of that stuff is lining up. I need to fix that dent in his head right there on that side, so I know it's on this side too. So I'll just come here. I keep doing that. Sorry about that. Okay. So this layer, I need a copy, and I need to paste it here. Paste, flip. Let me zoom out. So to go, like Procreate, if you tap near the different like points, ankle points, then it'll go to the left or to the right or up and down. Okay, so that's lined up pretty much. And I'm gonna turn that one off. Okay, my battery is getting low on my pencil, which the timing is pretty good because I'm about to get out here in the next 5 or 6 minutes. And I should be done anyway. So the next one I gotta copy is here. So I need to copy this layer. I always double check, make sure I'm copying the right one. Oops. Accidentally did a layer mask. So copy here, just find the opposite side right there. It's already highlighted for me. Make sure that that's what that is, and then I'll just paste it in. Flip. Oops. You gotta be careful with that. That kind of annoys me with the new design. Okay. Pretty much lined up. It should be it. Let me give it one more run through. Those are my layers. Just for my own tidying purposes. I could have labeled the layers better too, but I'll turn off the drawing guide so it's not in my way. And so as you can see, it could be just a few more tweaks, especially between the feet at the bottom, but it works for me in terms of knowing how I need to like draw it and structure going forward. So that's pretty much what a turnaround looks like. I'll probably clean this up, and I'll come in here and even clean this right here. I don't like the way that looks, so I'll clean that and make sure that it looks more profiled to match with the back. So when we get here, it's consistent. So you see how I got it going flat right there, and then it's puffy there. So I'll fix that as well. So when I do have the turnaround, everything is just nice and perfect looking, and there's no jitter to it. Like his head looks pretty good. His head looks pretty good in terms of no jitter. But I need to make sure that the same thing is happening with his jacket at the top. And so then even there, make sure those lines line up. for his bottom and those and stuff like that. So just little tweaks. And again, those lines probably won't be there as so much once I add the color, because you can see this. These colors are pretty flat, and I left it like that on purpose. I may add some accessories, I don't know. Uh, but again, the goal is just to have it to where I can look at them, I can bring them in, I can bring this model into any drawing that I have and figure out the angles. So let's see if I show you this real quick. Thanks, Natasha. And so you can see here is like some different drawings of them. These are just sketches more or less. And inside that drawing, I have tons of layers. And same for this one. That's kind of what I had in mind, but I'll even make sure that all of these models are lined up and fixed. And so this is just one of the ways you start off doing this kind of stuff is you just take your time, just keep layering it. You can see how I have his shoes here. I made his soles a little thicker in this one, and I actually added some more line work. And so once I get the turnaround going solidly, I'll bring these different aspects of it, of this to the model, and then clean up the model around that. And as you can also see that this is a lot cleaner than the other one. The lines are a lot smoother, and that's because the resolution is a lot higher. So I didn't start off with a low resolution and have pixel brushes. I started off with a high resolution to keep my pixels clean and that kind of stuff. And these were the original sketches before I did the turnarounds. So again, I'll just go back and start consolidating all the different drawings and images and make sure that they line up and make sure that the character itself is consistent. And then from there, I'll start building a story around them. I have a loose story so far. I'll build a story around them, building other characters, and that's how you start developing concepts in the world. Most people start with writing first. I'm an artist, so I start with drawings first. So anyway, appreciate everybody for joining in and just watching. And there's that. Till next time. Peace.